Let's take a look at MIDI loop recording in Cubase. I've already added an instrument track set up with an electro-style virtual analog synth from the all-new Halion Sonic SE. Feel free to change the preset to something else if you like. I've also turned cycle on and set the left locator to bar 1 and the right locator to bar 5 to create a 4-bar loop. Make sure that the click and the pre-count are both turned on. There are many different ways that we can loop or cycle record with MIDI data. Look at the transport. You can use the drop-down menu here to select the cycle record mode. Before we do, let's quickly go over the MIDI record modes on the left. New Parts creates new parts for each recording and does not modify any existing parts. Merge merges the newly recorded data into the existing part. Replace creates new parts but removes any existing parts in the recorded range. If in doubt, leave this set to new parts. This is the least destructive. Now on with our point of focus for this chapter, the MIDI cycle record mode. There are 5 options here: mix, overwrite, keep last, stacked, and mix stacked. Even though you can use all of these options for MIDI recording, let's just take a look at the first 2, mix and overwrite. We'll take a look at other options in the next chapter, loop recording 2. Mix allows you to keep recording on top of a part over and over again without erasing what you've played. This is great because it also allows you to create complex arrangements that you might not be able to play in one pass. It's also great for creating drum beats because you can record each part of the drum kit one sound at a time. Sort of like we did in Chapter 12, except this time we're going to use a keyboard and it's a little bit more advanced. Let's take a look at how this works. Press record on the transport. I'm just going to play the root notes for this song. Okay, now check this out. When I start playing again in the next cycle, the MIDI display will automatically resize for the best view of all of my notes. That's pretty cool. With each pass, I can add to the chord progression without erasing the previous take. This is great if you're a novice keyboard player or if you want to build a complex string arrangement and you only have 2 hands. Delete the part and set the cycle record mode to overwrite. When using the cycle record mode, Cubase automatically replaces the region each time it cycles. This is great when you want to try and record something over and over again until you get it right. Let's try it out. Cubase only erases the last pass if you play something, so if you want to listen to it a few times before you record your next pass, you can. Or just press stop and the last thing you played is kept. You can keep doing this until you get the perfect take. In the next chapter, we'll take a look at the rest of the cycle record modes. Moving on from the last chapter, we'll cover the rest of the cycle record modes now. As you can see, I've tiled my windows like we did in Chapter 7, but this time I've staggered the windows. I did this for easy access between the 2 example projects. I suggest you do the same. We're starting off with the Loop Recording 2 piano project, and then moving on to Loop Recording 2 drums. For now, let's resize this window and make sure that this is the active project by clicking here. In the previous video, we took a look at 2 cycle record modes, mix and overwrite. These modes can only be used with MIDI or instrument tracks. The next 3 modes, keep last, stacked, and mix stacked, can be used with MIDI, instrument, and audio tracks. Unlike overwrite, these 3 modes allow you to keep all of the takes you record and then decide which ones to keep and which ones to throw away. Let's try recording in a piano event using these cycle record modes. Keep last allows you to keep recording until you find the perfect take. When you stop playback, the last take that you recorded will be left on the track. In order to make sure that you keep a take, don't stop recording until Cubase has started to record the next take. Otherwise, Cubase will think that you didn't complete the take and therefore it isn't worth keeping. You can view and edit any of the takes you recorded by right-clicking on the region and selecting the take under Set Region to. See what happens when I choose the different regions? Now look at what happens when I resize the track. If I like the way the tail of bar 4 or the beginning of bar 5 sounded and don't want to edit two sections together, a simple click and drag saves you the time. Use Keep Last when you need to record one good take of a part that can't be pieced together from different takes, as we'll see next. Stack Mode allows you to view all of your takes at the same time. This allows you to combine pieces of each take to create one fantastic final take. Notice that one take is highlighted and the other takes are muted. This is because when using Stack Mode, only one take or one part can take place at a time. When you start playback, only the bottom take will be heard. In previous versions of Cubase, you would use the Split tool and the Mute tool to select what you wanted to hear. In the current version, all you have to do is click on the track and it becomes the selected part for listening to for that section. Stack Mode is great to use when you're recording vocals or any solo instrument where different pieces of each take can be easily joined together. For Mix Stacked, I'm going to switch to the example project Loop Recording 2 Drums. Mix Stacked works exactly the same way as Stack Mode, except that all takes are unmuted and can be heard if it is a MIDI track. If it's an audio track, they will not be heard. In case you get confused trying to remember the difference between Stack Mode and Mix Stacked is conveniently labeled with No Mute in brackets. This mode is perfect for MIDI drum recording, keeping all of your drum notes separate in individual parts, but on one track. I personally love using this feature. Copying, muting, moving, erasing. It's a great way to come up with drum beats that you might not have otherwise thought of. When you're done editing the parts, you can press the Show Lanes button on the track to turn the lane display off and view the final take all pieced together. We'll go into more depth on this topic in the Composite Tracks video in Level 3.